What's going on, everybody? It's Nick from Rightly Dividing the Word of Truth. And this is the 4th episode of Shop Talk. Shop Talk is a series where I record haircuts and conversations because some people expressed an interest in seeing that kind of thing. So in this episode, Jacob Rosario comes to visit me from 2 hours away in Pennsylvania. Jacob, he's a subscriber to the channel, and I'm sure you've seen him in the live chats on some of your favorite YouTuber streams, Sam Shamoon, William Albrecht, so on and so forth. And Jacob, he's a great guy. He had some time off of work, said he needed a haircut, so he came out to see me. We had a good conversation for a little over an hour, and unfortunately, the end of it got cut off. I don't know what happened or why it happened. I was recording this on my phone, and I had it in airplane mode with the express intention of it not getting cut off due to a text message or a phone call. But apparently, people were telling me that it can be connected to Wi-Fi while in airplane mode. So that seems very counterintuitive and useless, in my opinion. But whatever happened, I must have gotten a text message or a phone call that ended up cutting the recording. So we get about an hour of it. The last 5 or 10 minutes got clipped, which is fine because you still get to see pretty much the final product on the haircut and the vast majority of our conversation. And a day later, I was in the live chat and Jacob's wife popped in to say that she enjoyed the haircut. So happy wife, happy life, right? As long as she liked it, I'm good with it. Anyway, it was great to meet Jacob. Hopefully, he'll have some time one day in the future and we can meet up again. But hope you enjoy this one. God bless. Very cool. All right, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
I would take the parkway all the way up to 280.
280?
Take 280 to 80 back down
Yeah.
to Stroudsburg. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took the parkway here.
Let's get you mic'd up. All right, brother, what are we doing today?
Let me get a medium skin,
Yeah.
1.5 on top,
Okay.
then trim down the beard and shape up the beard too.
You got it.
And shape up all around too.
So
as well.
the 1.5, you like metal or plastic?
Uh,
Metal cuts a little closer.
do plastic.
Plastic?
Yeah.
That'll work. Oh, man, so what's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm off this week, so I've just been home.
Just random vacation, or you have the time scheduled?
So my job is kind of unique in that I do a lot of traveling.
Okay.
I work for a company called Solar Turbines, and I work on jet turbine
Wow.
engines and stuff. They provide steam for like hospitals or for like gas companies that helps flow the gas through the pipes.
Okay.
So my job is kind of like 1 week I can be off, the next week I could be in Maryland
How are you,
working.
sir?
So it kind of like fluctuates where I go and everything. So
All travel by car, or do they fly you places?
truck.
Truck.
They give us a pickup truck. They
Yeah.
pay for gas and food, hotel, all that's paid for.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, it's a good time.
So what do you mechanic or engineer, or what's the title?
It's a mechanic, but I also do like electrical work too. It's kind of like a one size fits all type of thing, you know, engineer, mechanical. I kind of dive into all those things within the turbine. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
You went to technical school for that?
no, actually I did not. Before I did that, I was in the military. I was in the Marines, and I worked on the V-22 Osprey.
Okay.
I was hydraulics. I did hydraulics on them. So, and then I got the job from there. So.
Hey, Lawrence, your appointment's here. How long did you do in the Marine Corps?
5 years.
Yeah. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. You know, there's some moments where you're like, man, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, I bet.
You know, especially during like boot camp, or I deployed to Africa, and there was some moments there. It was like, man, this is miserable. But other than that, overall, I don't regret it. So.
Where in Africa?
Djibouti.
Okay.
It's like very east, Horn of Africa, near Yemen.
Yeah, one of my brother-in-laws, he's from Africa,
Oh, okay.
Rwanda.
Yeah.
So this was a vacation week, or you just got no
I just had no work.
turbines to work on?
Originally, I was scheduled for something near Maryland, but then it got canceled. So
Gotcha.
they just gave me the week off.
That's awesome. Still paying you?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Good.
I get paid salary, and then I can still get overtime as well.
That's awesome. How's your Lent going?
It's going good, man.
Yeah.
Yep. For the fast, instead of doing the 2 small meals and 1, regular meal, I just do 1 regular meal, and then I don't eat anything else. So kind of went, a little above the regular Lent.
Yeah.
So just,
He's on a business trip. Yeah, he put you with me. He told me what to do, so I got you.
So your church is in East Stroudsburg as well?
All the way through.
yep.
How long you been there?
I've been going there for about a year already. I'm still in the process of becoming Catholic. I'm going to get my sacraments in Easter.
You got so there. He was here.
So they got you RCIA?
I'm in that right now.
Or didn't they change the name of it now?
Yeah, it's OCIA.
OCIA?
Yeah,
And what's the O stand for?
order
Order, okay.
instead of right. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
So-
big wig made the decision.
Or somebody got offended.
Yeah.
Somebody heard right and thought it meant that somebody else was wrong.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what did you grow up? Christian, no religion?
It was, basically really no religion. I mean, my mom, she told me recently she was Catholic, and I'm like, really? Like, it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, she would take me to church only for, like, special times, you know what I mean? One of those types of Catholics that you would go only for Easter or for,
Yeah.
special occasions, so.
So we call them CEOs, Christmas, Easter only.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a new one. I haven't heard that. I like that. But so I wasn't really raised Christian, really wasn't taught those Christian values.
Gotcha.
So
When did you first come to faith?
I would say, so probably like 7 years ago, I started reading the Bible, just kind of like, dipping my toes in it. And since my mom would take me to church, I kind of had an idea of the Trinity already. So when I started reading the Bible, I already kind of, saw the Trinity within the reading. But I would say I started really taking it serious probably 2.5 years ago is when I started actually taking faith serious and, actually practicing what is said in the Bible. And my wife too, she started taking it serious too, started reading the Bible, praying more. At that point, we became non-denom,
Yep.
also known, AKA Baptist, because we, we basically
Same
had the
difference.
Baptist, teachings and stuff. So at that point, we're non-denom. And then we stayed there for a little bit, probably for like a year and a half. We attended a Baptist church. This was down in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And then we came here a year ago.
Okay.
I started studying more, studying church history, and then, reading the church fathers.
That'll do it.
And that did it for me right there. Once I seen how they saw the Blessed Mother, I
Yeah.
kind of, right there, started, changing my, how I thought of like the Catholic and Orthodox churches and stuff.
Yeah.
So at that point, it was convincing my wife, hey, like look how these men looked at the Blessed Mother. And, at first she was kind of like, no. But then she started reading herself. And she's like, you know what, you're right. So at that point, we were discerning Orthodox and Catholic. And she was baptized Catholic.
Okay.
So at that point, we were like, you know what, you were baptized Catholic. I've read Catholic Orthodox. I'm good with going Catholic. So
Yeah.
my wife, being baptized Catholic, did kind of favor me going towards Catholic. So we started looking at the churches nearby. And then we found one called St. John's. And we were like, okay.
Nice.
We watched the live on YouTube. And we're like, all right, let's go to this one. And then, the rest is history. So there we are now.
It's regular Latin, right?
Yep, regular Latin. Yep.
Have you been to Latin Mass?
Not yet. We
Don't-
want to go to one, though.
Yeah,
It looks
I mean,
pretty.
check it out, but it's pretty terrible if you don't know Latin. It's not terrible. I mean, the Mass is the Mass, but
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
don't understand what's going on, man, it's so awkward.
You're like, I have no idea what he's saying.
I don't know what he's saying, and it's not the same as the traditional, or I can't even say traditional, but the Novus Ordo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different enough that it's very hard to follow along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to go more for the experience, but
Yeah.
we're not like one of those like, oh, Latin Mass is, that's the only one,
We got a guy that comes in here, and he loves the Latin Mass. He thinks that's the only way to go.
Yeah, just
Like there's something magical about the Latin language. I'm like, dude, it's the language
the
everybody in the
language.
world spoke at that time.
yeah.
I took it in high school because we didn't have to speak it.
Yeah.
Okay, all I gotta do is write it. Let's go.
I'd love to know it, to be able to read it, but I'm a little too old to be picking up languages.
I fell in love with the meanings.
Yeah.
I got a couple things on me, especially those famous ones. Maybe DVDs.
Yeah. Yeah, like that one I know. It's close enough to English that you could kind of muddle your way through if you're reading it, but...
Mm-hmm.
Now, you speak Spanish?
I understand it. I'm not fluent, though.
Okay.
My wife is fluent in Spanish, though.
So you might be able to pick some up more than me.
Yeah, it'd be cool to go to one at least, but
You're Puerto Rican?
Puerto Rican and Dominican, half
right.
and half.
There you go.
Yeah. Got the best of both worlds, right?
Dad's Puerto Rican or your dad's Dominican?
He was Dominican.
Okay.
You happy you stated by both sides?
Yeah. It's the way I look at it, at least, or at least try to, you know what I mean? Some people say otherwise, but hey. My wife's Puerto Rican. She gives me a hard time because I'm half Dominican. So,
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Where are you from originally?
Manhattan, New York.
Okay. So what'd you do? Join the military right out of high school, or
No, I joined late. I joined when I was 25.
how old are you now? How old are you now?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just got out.
Yeah, I got out a year ago. Year and 3 months.
Yeah, we've been doing the mass now for a couple months. My wife loves it,
Mm-hmm.
so I got no problem with that.
Well, that's good. It's important that she likes it too, you know?
Yeah. I said, you know what? I don't mind taking a detour over here.
Mhm.
We're gonna check out an Eastern Rite Catholic Church. It's not
Okay.
too far from us, and then there's a few Orthodox churches out our way.
Yeah, just kind of, see where the Spirit guides you, where Spirit
That's
wants
it,
you.
man. I'm in no rush to make any final decision.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to explain to everybody, like I'm already a Catholic. I've never not been a Catholic. I was baptized when I was a baby. I've just been a lapsed Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But technically, I mean, I went to confession. I recited the Nicene Creed. I could receive communion now.
Okay. well,
I haven't done it just because I'm still in my Pentecostal church, but it's looking like either Easter or the week after Easter is going to be my last Sunday there. And then we'll start visiting all these other churches and figure out where God wants to plant us.
Yeah, exactly. Best thing to do, you don't want to rush into something,
Nah, not at all.
especially something like this, discerning a church.
Absolutely. What's up, Chris? Definitely a big decision. A lot of people take it lightly.
Yeah.
You guys got kids?
Mm-hmm.
How
I have
many?
a 7-year-old, and then I have one on the way.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
You know what you're having?
Boy,
Boy. And a 7-year-old, boy or girl?
girl.
There you go, 1 and 1. What do you got planned for the weekend?
Probably go see the family. I have family in Allentown, so drive down there, spend some time with them.
Is that far from you?
It's an hour away.
Okay.
It's not bad. And then I have OCIA, so we got to attend that too.
So who teaches that?
Our deacon does.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long is the course?
It started in September,
Excuse me.
and it goes, I think, 1 month after Easter Vigil, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it goes on for a bit. Every Saturday we go.
What all are they teaching you?
So they started with the Nicene Creed. They went over, everything in the Nicene Creed, what this means, what that means, And then they just start teaching us about, like, being Catholic, really.
Yeah.
What we profess, what we believe, how to be a Catholic in the church during Mass and outside the church too. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Pretty good. And I've been reading the Catechism too, so I read that along with OCIA.
Nice.
And, it helps whenever I have a question. I just ask the deacon, and he helps. So, yeah. Been pretty good. They're impressed with, because, coming from Protestant background, we focus more on the Bible, so they're impressed with, like, how I can, like, say, oh, this verse in the Bible, and they're like, how do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, because, some of them are cradle Catholics, so they're kind of just, they're practicing the faith, but they're not, like, that deep into the Bible.
Yep.
So, not saying I'm anything impressive, but
Yeah,
it's kind of funny
different.
when you can see that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There is a definite difference, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, I thank God for the path He took me on. 'Cause
Yeah.
had I not gone this way, I wouldn't have developed the love for the scriptures that I have.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the way I see it too.
But, the other thing is being in Pentecostal churches, they preach a lot of Bible, but a lot of people really don't care as much about the Bible. It's more about the experience. So that was one that always shocked people, like, especially 20-something years ago when I used to go in the chat rooms on AOL. You're a little young for that, but like the way these live chats are on the streams, like they were just rooms with nobody talking live. We'd all be sitting in there arguing, and people would ask, what kind of church I went to, and I'd tell them, they'd be like, get out of here. I'm like, I never met a Pentecostal who knew the Bible like that. I'm like, oh, that's a sad story.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it's funny. All non-denom churches really are Baptist or Pentecostal.
Basically, yeah. It's kind of funny, yeah.
If they got the gifts, they're Pentecostal. If they don't, they're Baptist.
Yeah.
Or were you going to like a charismatic non-denominational church or not?
We were actually going to a Southern Baptist. When we were in Jacksonville, we went to a Southern Baptist church. So. Yeah, I would say I'm non-denominational during that time because, oh, we're supposed to be Christian, you know the whole thing. It's like, you don't know any better.
Yeah, I mean, usually it comes from a pure place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All they know is I believe in Jesus, and they're just trying to follow him and do what the Bible says. But take care, Tom. There's a context for everything. It all fits somewhere.
Exactly.
That was one of the things I was trying to explain to someone the other night. I don't know if you saw, I did a live stream. Let's talk about Protestants aren't the enemy.
I saw that video. Yeah, I did.
So, one of the guys came on, and I always say his name Xerxes, but that's not how he pronounces it, even though it's spelled that way. But it was him or the other guy in the thing. One of them asked me, like, well, what is, I think it was the other guy. I think it was his humble servant.
Okay, yeah.
I wish I knew his real name so I could, it's always weird calling somebody by their
The YouTube name, yeah.
But, one of them asked me, like, what it was, like, why I'm going the direction I'm going. What do they have that the others don't? And he thought it was the Eucharist. And I'm like, yes and no. I'm like, my church believes that. We believe in the real presence. We've been teaching this for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And, most everybody in there is fully on board with it. The people that aren't, that's between them and God. But I'm like, it doesn't fit in the context. Mm-hmm. Like, we believe it, yeah. We're convicted that it's true, but there's a place where it makes sense. So that's one of the things, like wanting to be consistent and have, the quote-unquote fullness of the faith.
Right.
There's just certain things that without apostolic succession, without a bishop, without these things, it's just out of place.
Yeah, I mean, you read St. Ignatius. I was reading his recensions, the middle, the short, and the long.
Yep.
And no matter how you go, they're pretty consistent. I know majority of scholars go with the middle recension. Mm-hmm. Without the bishop, without the deacon, without the presbyters, you have no church. I mean, that's St. Ignatius saying that. Yeah. He was a disciple of John.
Yeah.
So reading something like that, and you're just like, whoa, okay, hold on. I don't have a bishop. Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I do ask people when they're like, bishop's just another word for basically pastor. Mm-hmm. They get used interchangeably. I said, okay, so what happens when you have to practice excommunication? They'll call it church discipline. Mm-hmm. So a bishop could come in and make the ruling, and then no other Catholic church or Orthodox church could take this person in. Mm-hmm. But how do you get that off with a non-denom church?
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could go right up the street.
Go somewhere else, yeah.
So how does that work without a bishop? How does that work without a visible church? How does that work without... You saw the James White saying Ignatius might not exist, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know that one.
That's silly.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm trying to be graceful with him because he's getting older, so I think he's starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah, he just needs to quit now while he's ahead, even though he's not really ahead at this point. But
yeah, the Mexican kid, whose name I can never remember, with the real deep voice.
Oh, Voice of Reason.
Voice of Reason.
Mm-hmm.
Can never remember this kid's name, but he, I think he beat him in their debate.
Oh, yeah.
Trent Horn, Jimmy Aiken, even the open theist guy. Like, he's not been doing well.
Nope, not
What's
at
the
all.
last one he just had? Joe Heschmeyer?
Oh, Joe Heschmeyer
He demolished him,
bad.
man.
It was really bad.
That was a beating. I was talking to the kid the other night. He goes to James White's church.
Okay, yeah.
What is his name? Austin, I think. Nice kid. Real soft-spoken. Think pretty fairly new believer. I think he said he got saved maybe 3-4 years ago, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And he was saying, well, the mass, he's like, it's a sacrifice, and they keep sacrificing Jesus all over. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what it is.
No.
So it's a representation of the once for all. And I'm trying to explain it, but they hear the word sacrifice and they're like, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, they quote, what is it, Hebrews? I forgot which verse it is to say, oh, it's only one, sacrifice. You're not supposed to re-sacrifice. It's like, no, that's not what's going on at all.
Right.
I like to point people to the Catechism because I think the Catechism does a really good job of explaining it. Honestly, better than I would. So I like to point people to that. And then if they still think that way, then hey, you're free to think what you think, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean it's true, the way you're thinking. So.
Yeah, but like the thought of sacrifice just really seemed to bother him. Like that's what worship is in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean that is
like that's the
worship
definition.
is sacrifice.
Without it, you're just singing a song.
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that's given to God alone is sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's what separates him.
That's what a lot of people get hung up on. It's a sub-biblical.
Yeah.
Nice way of saying it. Sub-biblical view of what worship is.
Mm-hmm.
So just lifting your hands, closing your eyes, singing. It's nice. It's definitely honorific,
But it's not sacrifice.
It's not true worship, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you put it with the sacrifice, then they're worshipful acts.
Yep.
But for the same reason, like, you could sing a love song to your wife. You're not committing idolatry.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I can have a picture of my wife, and I'm not like worshiping my wife. I'm just honoring her.
Are we gonna take the beer down some?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it down some.
You got a regular barber out there?
Yeah. I only go like probably like once a month because
Yeah.
I do a lot of traveling and stuff. So, and I get it cut pretty low, so I don't really. In the Marine Corps, I went every single week, and I got kind of tired of it.
Yeah. How were the barbers in the Corps?
They were not too bad. They were quick.
Yeah.
It's like 10, 15 minutes, you're done. It's like, all right.
What's the Marine Corps' birthday again?
November. Oh man, is it November 7th? I think it's November 7th. That's funny, I forgot that. I'm pretty sure it's November 7th. That's what's coming in my head at least. Could be wrong.
I was cutting a guy the other day. He was in the Marines for like a year. And then I got conflicting stories on why he's not in there no more. So that's neither here nor there. But he worked on helicopters while he was in there.
A year, huh?
Okay. Yeah, so the way I understand it was that he couldn't pass the physical stuff anymore. He had an issue with running with the 70-pound pack on or something. And I don't know if they gave him multiple opportunities and he still couldn't do it. And he was saying like his back was injured, whatever, but.
Sounds like he was probably an MCT, Marine Corps, the combat training.
Okay.
Because that's when we ruck. But after that, you really don't ruck much anymore. Maybe when you're like in your school for your MOS, you might ruck if your instructor wants you to. But in MCT, that's where, like, if you fail, you get dropped, like, down a week or something. Yeah. Yeah, I had people like that they couldn't do the ruck, or they couldn't run the PFT, the physical fitness test, within the amount of time. The 3 mile run kills a lot of people. It kills a lot of people.
No, it would kill me.
Because you have to train for it throughout the year. You can't just, I mean, it's not something you can train a week prior or something and be like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean?
3 miles with the 70-pound pack?
No. The physical fitness test, you're just running. You're just running with green shorts and a skivvy shirt, no pack or anything.
I was going to say 3 miles.
Nah, yeah, that would.
Yeah.
That'd be killer. That'd be killer. Even though I did know a guy in Africa who did that. With a 70-pound ruck, full combat load, he would run. I'm like, dude, you're insane. You're absolutely insane. And Africa's crazy hot, so it's like, man.
He would do it just because?
Just because he was trying to become a Marine Corps Raider. So there's
Okay.
like the special forces within the Marine Corps. So he was training for that.
SEAL.
Yeah, they're kind of not as high as the SEALs, but, you know, they're up there.
We had a guy in here a few months back claiming to be a SEAL. And something seemed very fishy about it.
Yeah.
Something seemed very
Did he just
fishy.
bring it up? I'm a SEAL?
He did.
That's very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Now,
very
I
weird.
was going to say
Yeah.
that. You said it before.
That's automatic.
Yeah.
To me, that would be a red flag.
So he-
Because a SEAL dodoesn't say, hey, I'm a SEAL.
No,
You know,
yeah.
he's kind of just chill, and then maybe it might come up, but
Yeah, he
otherwise.
said he was a SEAL. He said he was on the roof with who's that? Chris Kyle when he took out that sniper and
That is interesting.
what were they? Afghanistan. I don't know what country they were in.
Interesting.
Yeah, just he's saying wild stuff that
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. But the thing that tipped me off, he said that he had taken an IED. So
IED.
an IED blew up, and he was saying he got shrapnel. And he's from here, but he lived it down in like one of the Carolinas, and he said he only gets his hair cut when he comes up here because nobody knows how to cut hair down there. So I'm like, all right. Like, people always say stuff like that. I'm like, you can't find one good barber in all of South Carolina.
Yeah,
Like,
that's-
get out of here. So,
Seems strange.
but he said because of the shrapnel, they take his fade too high. He's got to keep it low, and you can't do skin. So I'm like, all right. So he gets in the chair with the guy, and before I could say, hey, make sure you don't go too close, he's already like up here with it, and he's bald. And I'm looking, I don't see any scarring.
Yeah, there would be a scar.
And I'm like, yeah, if you had shrapnel in your head.
Yeah.
Came up with that story. Green.
Yeah, and he told me that he had been hospitalized for an infection he got from a haircut because they took it too close with the shrapnel, because of the shrapnel. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Jeez.
So,
I don't know about that. That story seems a little off.
yeah, he was weird. And then he just kept piling on. He was there when Gaddafi got taken out or whatever. I'm like, but didn't Gaddafi's people drag him out into the street? I don't think that was the SEALs that got him.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. But
Yeah. I mean, as far as I remember, it was like we aided in his downfall, but his people,
yeah, it was people.
like,
yeah, I'm
they
pretty
dragged
sure it
him
was-
out into the street. Head back from. I don't know if you've ever seen that guy Don Shipley that runs around with the stolen valor. People will call him up and say,
Oh, yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
saw some guy saying he's a SEAL, so he'll find out. If I cared enough, I would have gave him a call.
Yeah. Unfortunately, people do that.
Used to work with a kid named Mike. He was, I'm pretty sure he was on the spectrum. He never came out and said it, but he used to tell like some of the wildest stories ever. And did you ever see the movie Boys in the Hood?
Man, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. But yeah, I did see it a while back. Yeah.
So there's the scene when he's telling his father how he lost his virginity or whatever. And he's making the whole thing up. But anyways, this kid tells me that scene from the movie. Like he recounts it, acts as if it was him. And I'm looking at him. Yeah, and I said, Mike, I'm like, come on, man. And then he said he used to date the personal chef for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Here we go. I forgot all about that.
He's young. He's like 19, 20 tops. So he dates the chef for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you know she flies him out to Ohio, and he hangs out with LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving was playing on the team at the time, and I think Kevin Love and all them. And he was going to the club with these guys and smoking weed. And, so I'm like, all right, Mike. So it got to the point where I just had to stop him one day. I said, listen, Mike. I'm like, listen. Even if none of this stuff happened, I still like you. And he was like, no, but it did happen. It did happen. I swear. I said, okay, but even if it didn't, I still like you, man. Don't I said, you don't got to impress me. That guy
funny.
told some tall tales. Said he had two friends that were twins that hacked the NSA. I said, really? The NSA? Like they're like top of the line when it comes to national security, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that in the name?
Oh, there you go.
That's funny. That is funny.
Yes, sir.
But I guess people have that, I don't know, that tendency to want to,
Impress?
yeah. And I get it, you know, before I was serving Christ, I was a liar's liar. I lied just because. I didn't really need a reason. It didn't actually have to benefit me at all. It was just, why not?
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
you had nothing to fear, really, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like if you can get somebody to believe you did something you didn't, it's as good as doing it, right? And I sit there and think, like, we got to give an account to God for every
Everything,
word
yeah.
we've spoken. That's, you know, thank God for forgiveness. But
Yeah,
still,
seriously.
like, you still got to account for that.
Yeah, I'm reading Matthew right now. I'm in the Sermon on the Mount.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, reading the Church Fathers' commentary on it and everything. It's like,
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man.
I mean, shoot, legend has it that Origin actually dismembered himself. There you go. Do you have that ancient commentary on Christian scripture?
No, what is that?
It's a series published by InterVarsity Press
Okay.
where they'll take like snippets from the church fathers on every passage of the Bible. It's pretty good. They got a full Old Testament set and the full New Testament set. So it'll be like brief excerpts.
Mhm.
So say, whatever, the point is man shall not live by bread alone.
Yeah.
Right? It'll say, have what St. Jerome said or what St. Gregory of Nazianzus said or whoever.
Yeah, I use an app called, I think it's called Cantina, something like that.
Okay.
Do you ever heard of that?
No.
It's a good app. It has every verse. It has the church fathers. You can like click on a verse, and then within that verse, it has writings from like Saint Jerome, even some from Saint Ignatius if he wrote on it. Whatever church father wrote on that verse, they have the writings of it. Pretty good.
It's a free app?
Free, yeah.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, Catena. That's how you spell it. But it's really useful, really good. I use that whenever I'm reading the Bible. I have that too, and I click each verse and I read what the church fathers wrote on that verse.
I mean, these guys really were geniuses. It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
The connections they make is like, wow,
Yeah.
insane.
There's only one modern guy. Let me not say that. I don't want to say there's only one modern guy, but there's one modern guy that I read. He's a Presbyterian, but he's like that. Peter Lightheart.
Oh yeah, I've heard that name before.
He's so good, man.
Okay.
He's such an astute reader of the Bible. And I don't know if you've seen any of these guys talking about like the codes in the King James version of the Bible.
Yeah.
So he'll do stuff with like real biblical numerology,
Okay.
where he's drawing attention, not to prove that any translation is correct or whatever, but he'll just say like, all right, Revelation talks about, 7 lampstands and 7 this and 7 that, but it uses this word 7 times, and in the 7th paragraph, blah blah blah, and he'll really show some intricate, interesting stuff. And I'm like, who even reads the Bible like that? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
sitting there counting words.
that's like really getting in depth with it, huh?
Yeah.
You got a lot of time in your hands, which.
But, and of course he does it with the original languages. He's not doing it with the translations. How about you? You got any interest in learning like Greek or Hebrew or any of that?
I've been thinking about learning Greek,
Yeah.
picking it up and trying to learn it.
It's definitely a good tool to have. What do you want to do once you're in the church?
So my wife wants to be more involved with children ministry, kind of doing like, there's this thing called faith formation, which is preparing the kids for their sacraments.
Okay.
So she wants to do that, and she wants to get me into that too. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. I mean, there's so much. Our church is pretty, like our pastor, he likes us to be involved with the church, and there's a lot of different ministries. So,
That's
I
good.
signed up for a tech ministry, but I guess they had enough people already, so they didn't call me yet. But the lady who runs it, she's aware. She's like, oh, I know that you signed up and everything, but we have a decent amount of people right now. But when we need you, we'll definitely give you a shout.
And what would that entail?
That's just like running the presentation, because we have like
okay.
the TV and just
Gotcha.
PowerPoints and everything. Just
Yeah,
changing the slides.
that's what I do in my church. But finally got a replacement, so
Okay,
That
that's
was-
good.
that was one of the things I had to get in order before I left. So I trained this one guy, and then they just stepped it up now. They got new camera system, It's got the camera that follows you automatically. We're gonna start. Last week was the first like trial run live stream on YouTube, so he's gonna be doing that.
Nice upgrade.
Yeah. I'm like, it's a lot more moving parts than what I was dealing with, so thank God somebody else is doing it.
Perfect timing.
You're pretty techie?
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty tech savvy. Yeah, and also I want to join the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah.
I already expressed my interest to one of the members, and he's like, yeah, as soon as you get your sacraments or anything, we'll get you in. So I will be the youngest guy there because they're all like older individuals, you know what I mean? But it's one thing I notice is that it's a lot more older individuals that volunteer. There's not much younger people volunteering, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Start with you, and then you might be the guy that sparks the other young guys to get involved.
yeah, that's what my wife said. She's like, maybe you'll get the young guys to come to the Knights of Columbus too if you join. You know. Like,
Yeah, a lot of people think the Knights of Columbus are like low-level Masons. I don't know a lot about them. I just remember as a kid, they would sponsor like the little bazaars and like bake sales and stuff like that. But what is it? It's like a fraternal order? I don't really know what they do.
It's not really a fraternal order. I mean, from what he told me, it's just basically that they, like you said, they sponsor events. Sometimes they go out to the park nearby and help the homeless. Yeah, it's kind of the guy who I've been talking to about, he's older, and he's like, it's much different than it was before. Before, you can say it was like a fraternal order. There was like initiation and everything. And there's an initiation now, but it's very watered down, he said. That's what,
Gotcha.
it's changed a lot over the years. There's like different levels within it and stuff. He was explaining it to me, and I was like, okay, not everything really stuck, because, you know, there's a lot to it, but...
It's the number one question I get asked. People are like, well, are you going to become a priest? I'm like, I don't know. You know?
Hey, you never know.
I mean, not in the Latin rite, obviously, if I stick Catholic, but... I wonder if that's something they'd ever let up on. Because as I understand it, like, clergy ordination is way down.
Is it really?
Yeah. Like, even though Catholicism is growing globally, clergy is decreasing globally.
Interesting.
Hey, how are you? Real chicken sandwich. No cheese in it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fine.
She sold you on them fries. That wasn't in the plans until she asked. All right.
Yeah, the
Like
biggest
on the
thing.
beer, do you want to take that down some more?
Let's see. Take it down some more.
You
Take
got
it down some more, yeah. Yeah, the biggest thing I want to serve the church, you know, be the hands and feet. That's the most important thing,
It's awesome.
you know.
That should be the attitude.
understanding the theology, that's good. It's important, but not as important as actually, practicing the faith.
Yeah.
Going out there, serving the homeless, helping the people that need the help.
Amen. Yeah, nobody's going to stand at the judgment and say, did you see how many followers I had on YouTube?
Yeah, exactly. Or you see how I defend the papacy, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's not going to be the big things. He's gonna, ask, did you feed me when I was hungry? You know what I mean? Those are the things.
That's it. That's one of the big things I try to get people to understand, though. It's like every passage about judgment in the entire New Testament, it's all according to what we've done.
Yeah, it's action.
Yeah.
It's
so
exactly what it is. It's action.
That's why this faith alone stuff, it's like, dude, like you got to do more than just believe something.
Unfortunately, I think it just creates lukewarm Christians. You know what I mean? It's a problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have lots of problems. We're human. That's for sure.
We got a young man that comes in here. His brother used to work here a long time ago. And their grandfather's a pastor, so they grew up in church their whole lives, and this kid is off the wall. Like, last time he was in here, he's blaspheming God and not even realizing what he's doing. And, I told him, people are laughing. I'm like, listen, bro, you got people in here thinking you're funny. I'm like, it ain't funny, because you know better. But the way he's talking, like, I guess he's free grace now, without knowing what that is. But I'm like, this is the lifestyle that this creates. No reverence, no holiness, no wanting to please God, thinking God's all right with whatever you do.
Yeah, my wife's very passionate about how much she does not like free grace.
It's bad.
She's very, very passionate about it. She does, yeah.
Terrible theology, and I get it. I get why people would want to believe that, but why would you want to live your life like that? What was the point of coming to Christ? You could have just stayed doing what you were doing. Just want that get out of jail free card.
Yep.
Is your wife into theology as well?
Not as deep as I am, but I show her stuff and I'm like, hey, look what this church father said. And she does read the church fathers with the Bible too. So she's getting there, but she's not as deep as I am.
That's usually how it works. Seems men in general are more interested in theology as such.
But she's very concrete in the faith. I know if someone would say something, that she wouldn't know, it wouldn't be like, oh, she started questioning the faith, you know what I mean?
Was she raised Christian? You said she was baptized Catholic?
But she wasn't raised, no.
Okay.
No. They only baptized her because her grandma wanted her to be baptized Catholic.
Gotcha.
But her parents are not. They're secular.
She never made it to confirmation? Tell me.
No, she never made the confirmation. She just got baptized and then that's it.
Okay.
Baptized an infant.
So will you be Catholic by the time your second one's born?
So we have to go through the marriage sacrament too, which is a process. We're probably not going to be done with it by Easter. My wife is due in July, so there might be a chance that we will be Catholic by that time.
Okay.
But,
So interesting. They make you get remarried, huh?
Yep.
In the church. All right. Learn something new every day. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what about baptism for you? They recognize your baptism?
They did, yes.
Yeah.
They recognize our baptism.
That's one of the things, honestly, about Orthodoxy that kind of bothers me.
That's
the baptism thing.
That's one thing that I studied. I'm like,
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if that's the direction I go and they say I got to get rebaptized, I'll submit and do it. But just my understanding of baptism, put it like this: if I knew back when I was in the Pentecostal church what I knew now, I never would have got baptized in the Pentecostal church.
exactly, yeah. I mean, Jesus knows your heart, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I find that strange too, Orthodoxy wants that.
But then, you know, I've heard plenty of churches where they just grant a dispensation and they don't make it. They say, you know, your Catholic baptism's valid, or your, they'll even take Protestant baptism sometime. But then you got the hardcore Ortho bros like, yeah, they're liberal, you know, they're flaming liberals, they're ruining the faith. Yeah. So it's tough. That's why I can't depend on the internet
No,
to learn this stuff.
No.
So I love talking to like actual real people who practice the faith, because it's so different
Then
than what you
the
encounter
internet.
online.
Yeah, 100%.
We got a Coptic church right up the street from here.
Oh, nice.
And I don't think I could ever go that direction just because of the whole, you know, the Miaphysite thing. I know what they're saying, but I really don't like how they say it, what's going on. And, but man, let me tell you something. These people know their faith. They're like genuinely nice, good people. And then when I get the guys that come in from the Russian churches, again, they know their faith, they know the history. Like, I didn't know any history
Yeah,
about anything.
me neither.
They give you a whole history of Russia and the czars and the Bolsheviks and the church, and it's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I have a big issue when people say, "Oh, it's a spiritual, you know, it's not a physical." It's like, but you should be able to look in history and you'll see the church. You'll see the church involved in history.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't make sense that it's just a spiritual.
That was one of the big things for me. Like for me, I thought I was getting ready to plant the next church from the church where I'm at. But my whole thought process was, all right, I'm going to do it like this. I like this. I don't like that. I'll incorporate this. I won't incorporate that. And then it just left a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do my own thing. Because if I do everything different than the church I came out of, how's it really going to be an extension of that church?
Yeah, it won't be. It's just a new
thing.
A new thing, exactly.
And it's going to be unlike anything that ever came before it. So that bothered me. And then we were doing I was taking classes, and they kept talking about the way of Christ and his apostles. Let's get back to it. And they were pushing more for like a house church type of movement. And I'm sitting there like the book of Acts hasn't ended.
Yeah.
You know, that church is still a church.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, Book of Acts and then that's it.
Yeah, so who is that church from the book of Acts? You only got a couple people that can lay claim to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was never a particularly good Protestant either.
Yeah, me neither.
I wasn't Protestant by conviction, like this is the most true of all the options. It's just how it worked out. I was always much more friendly to Catholics and Orthodox than I should have been.